Welcome to your Daily 5 for Monday, June 30th, 2025. I want to credit this 5 to Mr. Ant Pruitt, friend of the show, who has his own Patreon, patreon.com/Ant Pruitt, which I am a member of and often have different discussions with the members of that Patreon and his community. And he asked me a question. And when he asked me this question, it got me thinking about whether I was entirely fair in my criticism of something I talked about at the beginning of May. In the beginning of May, I did a 5 where I criticized both Duolingo and Nintendo, and I stand by everything I said in that 5. But as I was thinking about it, I wanted to not be entirely unfair to at least Duolingo. Now, go back and listen to that 5 for my complaints and the reason I am going to be canceling it when my subscription is up at the end of the year. But it would not be honest for me not to say that, and I don't know what the AI incorporation is going to do to this, but as a starting point for a language, I don't know that Duolingo is something I wouldn't tell people to at least try. Because for a starting point, it works. I can't tell you that I don't speak better Italian now, far better really, than I did when I started. The problem is, outside of, again, whatever the detrimental effect of whatever tool they're going to be using is there is a stopping point where you start to realize you are largely spinning your wheels. And some of that was made worse by the changes to the app that predated this AI announcement. When the app used to have a very clear progression system, and you used to have a very good idea of the areas you were strong in and weak in. You could actually figure it out very clearly and take harder lessons or repeat earlier ones if you wanted to refresh your memory. And they've essentially blown all that away, which is a real shame because now you start it up and there really is no choice to say, I always do the most difficult options and it's entirely randomized whether what I'm going to get is actually a challenge or if it's something I can literally breeze through without even having to really read it because a lot of sentences get repeated, a lot of phrases get repeated, and you do memorize them over time. So it does have a natural starting point that the company actually made worse when they tried to, I think, simplify what they were doing. I don't know that language learning should be simple. It shouldn't be something that puts you off, but I don't think it should be so seamless that you realize that you're really not learning much anymore. Here and there, I will pick up something new, but a lot of times I know exactly what the phrases are likely going to be. Some of them are level 1, which I'm well past at this point. And so again, for somebody starting out, if they want to get a feel of how learning a language is, I don't think it's the worst option. I can't say it's a terrible option top to bottom, but it absolutely does have a learning ceiling that you're going to hit into probably depending on how intense your learning cycle is, or your style, I should say. You may hit into it sooner than I did, but you are definitely at a certain point going to realize that you are not learning the percentage of what you're learning new and the percentage of improvement that you're gaining is going to start falling and eventually it will fall off a cliff. So even without this AI announcement, I had been thinking that maybe I needed to move off this anyway. This just kind of sped it along. But again, I don't want to be unfair. I can't say that the app is completely useless to anybody, because Mr. Pruitt was talking about starting to learn a language, I think at a starting point. For that, Duolingo would not be the worst option. There may be other options as good, but I can't honestly say, outside of the gamification that a lot of people have complained about, that's the stuff that's bad. They've really made the app seem like it's supposed to be some kind of mobile game, which I don't think language learning has to be boring and ugly. But I also don't think it necessarily has to be a game. Not everything has to be a game. If you're trying to learn, there should be some degree of friction. There should be a utility to what you're using. You don't go there to, oh, look at the neat bird animation. I'm going there because I want to improve how I speak something. And I can't honestly say again that it did not help me in that goal. It did. But there is a point where the diminishing returns effect kicked in, and I don't know if you're going to have a AI tool that is generating these lessons. I have to imagine that repetition problem is only going to get worse. But again, in fairness, just to be honest and objective, I can't say Duolingo is terrible top to bottom the way some people do. It has a benefit. If you're going to use it, understand that up front, you will probably get some benefit from it, but those benefits will fade. And depending on what they do with these tools they're integrating, they may not even last that long when you start out. Just food for knowledge. Do with it what you will. Later.